Hello and welcome back to another Saturday with European Autocraft Studios and the 944 Turbo project. Some interesting developments. Excuse the compressor. Some interesting developments we found out thanks to you guys that are watching. I asked if anybody knew why it could be possible that this crankshaft gear was rubbing the cover. Uh, James Roberts chimed in and said, the gear's on backwards. Makes sense. Okay, so duh. I didn't catch that, but thank God you guys did. James Roberts was able to send me a message saying that the gear's on backwards. So that's why the flange in the back was rubbing through the case. It's supposed to be the other way to keep the belt from riding off. I've done them before. I just didn't catch that. Also, when I was looking at the water pump bolts, it seemed to remember some being longer than others. Well, that wasn't completely accurate. They're supposed to be studs here when you slide the water pump over the studs, and there are 3 nuts on the front. They said 4 studs. I thought it was only 3, but it might be 4. I'll verify that when we start putting things back together and start gathering parts. What I want to do today is measure the bore and stroke. I test fitted my bore gauge at 100 millimeters. That's what this engine's supposed to be. It's a lot bigger than 100 millimeters. So my gauge only goes to 100. I had to set an adapter to make it 105 millimeter, and then we'll measure it. We're going to go over to the vise and set up the tool, and I'll show you how I'm going to calibrate it to 105 millimeters, and then we'll measure to see what we actually have here. I don't have anything really good to measure the stroke, so I'm going to use the same my little vernier caliper just to get an idea. It doesn't have to be accurate. I just want to get an idea where we're at. So let's go over to the vise and I'll mount that so I can show you how I calibrate that to 0 at 105 millimeters. We'll do that right now. I was going to use my micrometer for this. The biggest one I have is 100 millimeter, so I can't get it to the 105. It's not quite as not quite that big. So we're going to use the vernier. This is just, again, it's not super accurate, but it's accurate enough to give us an idea where we're at. I set this to 105 millimeters. I'm going to gently put this in the vise here. I have my 100 millimeter set up here, and I added 5 millimeters of shims. So I'm going to get this to 0 out at 105. This will give me a little leeway, larger or smaller than 105, so we can get a good measurement here. This is a little, not the best way to do it, but it will work. Alright, so we're going to try to find the 0, if I can stay on here. Not a pain in the neck. Okay. Such a small surface area to measure. Let's see if I can do this a little bit more precisely here. Okay, so we're just going to teeter between the 2 points right there. Oh, you engineers are laughing at me. I know it. That's okay. Keep slipping off. Okay, so that'll be that's pretty close. So when this needle reads 0, we are at 105 millimeters. So we'll take, right? Yes? Come on. Come on. A little lower. Alright. We're not being accurate. I'm trying to be accurate. Alright, there we are at 105 millimeters at the 0 point. We'll measure how far off of 105 we are at the engine. Alright, we're set up to 105. Let's see what the bore actually is. Alright, we know that the 1 revolution is to 0. That's 105 here. the bore is smaller than 105, so that's 105. If it made it to 0, that would be 104. So we are at 103.9, 0.9567. We'll say 104, 103.97. 104.97. We'll check it in another direction. Again, I don't need to be real super accurate here. So there's 105. So didn't quite make it back to 104. So that's 103.956. I think. All right, we'll say 103.97. 103.97. 103.97. I also don't have an accurate measuring tool to measure the stroke, so again, we're just going to wing it. Oh, we have to make sure. We got to make sure this engine turns. I think it will. I got it to budge a little bit. So let's see. Yeah. Oh boy. It's not happy about turning, but that didn't sound good. I don't feel any scoring. We'll get a closer look when we get the pistons out. Right now, I just want to measure my bore. Stroke. Bore and stroke. Okay. So 1 and 4 at bottom dead center. 2 and 3 are at top dead center. So we're just going to wing it here and see what we have for a stroke. It should be 78.9 millimeters. So let's just check this. It's, what did I say? 78.9. 78.9. Okay. I think we're a little longer on the stroke. Let's see how much. Again, this is crude. Don't try this at home for anything accurate. $79 millimeters. Well, that's not much of a increase in stroke by 0.1. So apparently it's not a stroke of crankshaft. 79. And again, not accurate. This could be 78.9. I'm reading 79. So, looks like it's not stroke. Jeff, you were right. Didn't look like a stroke crankshaft. Now that we have the measurements for bore and stroke, we have to do the calculations. Now, I attempted to do this manually on the whiteboard. So I have a calculator. Let's take a look at this calculator. Bore and stroke, look at that. Okay, so the bore size we have 103.97. As accurate as that is. What did I say? 103.97. Could be 104. I don't know. But let's just. Crankshaft stroke, we're just going to put in 79. What do we have? 0. Oh, how many cylinders? 4. Yes, we got 4. Calculate results. 2682.8. We'll call that a 2.7 liter. 2700 roughly. So it's roughly a 2.7 liter from a 2.5. All right, so we gained a little bit. So now we know what we're working with. I don't know exactly what crank. It might be the original crank that they did the knife edge on. Let's see. I'm glad the engine turns. That's a good sign. Rotates. Yeah. It's probably the original crank. So, now that we know we're working with a 2.7 liter, we're going to go ahead and remove the pistons and take the crankshaft out. That shouldn't take too long. Let's see. Okay. Our chief cameraman, Nick Gander, has been sick this week with COVID. All week I was alone. He left me alone. So he came in today to do the video, so big thank you to Nick Gander. I don't think he's contagious anymore. At least I hope he's not. He stands far enough away from me, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to need a couple more tools. I'll be right back. I was looking for a wooden dowel to tap these out, but this should work just fine. Okay. Yeah, bearings look good. Looks like some debris might have been in there. Oh boy. That's our tight cylinder, number 1. Let's see if I can rotate that to top dead center and let that go. Let the crankshaft do some of the work. That's tight. That is tight. It's not long enough. Okay, I needed Nick Gander here to get a hand under it while I gave it a whack with the wooden dowel, so you didn't get to see that. Anyways, pistons are pretty badly scored here. I don't know why. I guess we'll get a closer look at the cylinder walls later on, but I'm not liking that. Of course, the piston rings are stuck pretty good. So we'll see what we can do. We're probably going to end up with new pistons, or at least, well, I don't know if we'll get these to match the weight groups and whatnot, but these are JE pistons, 518D. We'll see what that looks like here in the near future. What else? Let's start. That's our bearing that just fell. Not too bad. Bearings seem okay. I'm going to replace them anyways. Now, will this one cooperate? Yes, I think it will. Ooh, same thing. A lot of scoring. A lot more than I like to see. I know this engine does not have a lot of miles on it. You can see the connecting rods are numbered to match, so the cap matches the connecting rod. and it's also stamped 2.5. So it looks like the stock rods and the pin centers are stocked as well. I'm not numbering which cylinders he came out of because they're all going to be remachined anyways. I'm not too worried about the piston location or connecting rod on the crankshaft. We'll have the big ends of the rods refinished, as well as the bushings and the bushings corrected in the small end of the rods. This one's got some speckles on it. Look like there may have been some debris. I don't know if you can see that. There's a gouge, a little bit of a gouge here. Yeah, cleanliness is really important putting an engine together. I don't think this one was put together very clean. It's definitely not coming apart very clean. You know what I mean. Okay. Same thing, scoring. Big gouge in this bearing. That might be from where the oil. I thought it might have been debris coming out of the oil hole, but it's not. It's off center. The oil hole is right in the middle, so don't know. You always see me pile parts up on the cart, then I have to go figure out where I'm going to put them. So that's okay. Let's rotate this around one more time. Crank turns nice without the pistons in. That's a good sign. Yeah, a lot of gouges. There's some what looks like debris embedded as well in the bearing. Not good. This one just wants to come out of there. Same thing, a lot of scoring. It's the worst bearing of all. Yeah, looks like a lot of dirt. When the engine was put together, it wasn't thoroughly cleaned. The crankshaft may have had some debris in the oil channels and oil holes. No, we won't let that happen. All right. Okay. Crankshaft spins free. That's a good sign. We're going to go ahead and take the cradle off. We've got the mains and then the perimeter. Should all come off fairly easy. I don't have a 10mm over here. I'll be right back. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if they'll cooperate. Fine. Okay, that's about it for loosening. We'll take my team back. He stepped up his game since last time. And I wouldn't just be me if I didn't forget one. It's what I do. Oh, we got the whole stud with that one. Well, then I'll use that to hold my washers. Now, this might get a little difficult to release the cradle to the engine block because it does have sealer on it. The should be Loctite 574. So there are some pry points. I'm going to try just gently lift it up. But I don't have a pry bar. I'll be right back. Weapons of choice here. Let's see if we can gently. There we go. No, there we go. Not so bad. Whoop, get back up there. Hey. There we go. And these are our main bearings. Boy, those are a rough looking unit. There's some heavy scoring there. We'll measure the crankshaft with a little bit more precise measuring tools than what I have. I might even send it to the machine shop. He's got some really nice equipment over there. And he'll also measure the bore more precisely for me. Make sure that they're actually round. If they're egg-shaped or oval, then they're going to have to be bored. The engine doesn't have a lot of miles on it. Hopefully, number one isn't damaged. So let's take this off. And remove Mr. Crankshaft. Rear main seal. Okay. All right. Rest of the bearings look okay. These are standard, so we do have some room to cut if we have to. Those will stay. No, that one's going to stay. No? Okay, come with me then. Now, with all that scoring on these pistons, the cylinder walls look really nice. Got some pitting here, number one. So this could be a problem. If it's not too deep, it's possible we can bore it a little bit more. I have to check to see what the maximum oversize we can go on this. There's a few companies that can do this. There's one I used before for the engine in the Land Rover that we're going to be doing a special on. Millennium Technologies. They did a real nice job in machining, boring, and then replating it with the Nicosil. So we might try to find somebody that can do that. Any recommendations from any of you guys? I've been getting some great feedback. You guys are awesome as to the specifications, what crankshaft works with what. Just fantastic stuff. Any information you can send me, I'm all for it. You guys seem to know a lot more about this, the modifications of these engines than I do. I'm dealership level sort of thing where we pretty much replace put back in what we take out in the same specification. So we hit 800 subscribers today, this morning, or it might have been late last night. I checked it this morning at 800. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. That's going to help us a lot in the future as we grow. We have a lot going on here. Probably going to get the wiring done for our phase converter for the compressor this week. And we have to run some wiring over to the machine for 220 and hopefully get that running soon. Then we can we can really start cleaning up some components, especially the aluminum. It looks like brand new. I think that's it for today. I think Nick Anders falling asleep over there. He wants to go home. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe even more if you can. Just keep on subscribing. Like it, share it, and keep the notifications coming so you can watch every episode and not miss any. If you want to go back and watch them all again, that'd be great too. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.